Zootopia 3 is going to be completely different from anything you can imagine. This movie is going to be amazing, and we already have some information about this story. Are you ready to discover the future of Zootopia? Dating. Many fans don't believe that Judy and Nick might turn into a couple, but this possibility does exist, and there's a very good chance it could actually happen. Of course, many fans also don't want this romance to begin, which is why Disney decided to run a little test in Zootopia 2. Right at the beginning of the movie, Judy and Nick decide to go undercover pretending to be a couple, and they even act like they have a child. They enter the city's port trying to investigate an anteater who is bringing illegal cargo into Zootopia. When the character looks at the two of them, he even asks, "A bunny and a fox together?" That scene was created as a test to see if fans would buy into the idea of this couple becoming real in the next movie. Now, how the two of them might fall in love is a whole different story. That feeling will probably grow slowly, but the question is, will this couple really work, or do they function better as friends? We'll find out everything when the movie hits theaters. So grab your popcorn and get comfy on the couch. Another Cinewave is starting. Marriage. This couple might work so well that it's very possible the movie will end with the two getting married. But wait, is that even possible? Yes, you can be absolutely sure it is. As everyone knows, Zootopia is an animated film that deals with important topics. The theme of the first movie was prejudice against predator animals, especially the discrimination against foxes. In the second movie, the main theme was injustice toward reptiles. Remember how the anteater at the port was surprised to see a bunny married to a fox? That might be a hint that the theme of the next movie will be the marriage between herbivore animals and predators. Judy and Nick could end the movie as the perfect example that the family they build represents the true spirit of Zootopia. Animals who are different yet united, whether as friends or even living a real romance. The final scene would show the two standing inside a church saying "I do" and kissing. That would be really romantic, right? Are you ready to see them together? We'll discover all the details over the next few years. Mother. Nick's mother is a character who needs to return in the next movie. She appeared in one of Nick's memories when he told Judy the story of how he tried to become a scout. But this character never truly had space in the story, and fans need to see a bit more of her because Nick's mother was the one who witnessed everything that happened to her son, everything that pushed him toward becoming a con artist fox. Her face never appeared, and that has always been a mystery in the Zootopia universe. Why was her face hidden when Nick was telling such a heavy story about his past? That kind of question needs an answer. In fact, when Nick remembers everything that happened back then, we might finally see what the conversation between the two of them was like. You might remember that becoming a scout was Nick's dream, and even though his family didn't have much money, his mother worked hard to get him into a scout troop where he was bullied. In Zootopia, Nick gets a happy ending, but how did his mother deal with all of that? It's very possible we'll see more of Nick's childhood after he left the scout group, and when that happens, his mother will certainly have an important moment in the story. Would you also like to see Nick Wilde's mother? She will appear in the third movie of the franchise. You can count on that. Father, and if Nick's mother appears, then his father will probably show up too. And that's important, because ever since the first movie, fans have been asking what happened to him. It's possible that Nick's father is a character who ended up in prison, and that's something very few people noticed. In the first movie, Nick tells Judy that if the world is going to see you as a dishonest criminal fox, then there's no point trying to be anything else. And that's interesting because it might have something to do with Nick's father. Let's think about how this could play out. After Nick was bullied inside the scout troop, he became that clever fox who really does set traps for people. But what about his father? In a world like Zootopia, where people don't like foxes, Nick's parents likely suffered a lot. And if Judy's best friend turned into the fox we meet at the beginning of the movie, our theory is that Nick's father was imprisoned unfairly. In fact, many foxes might have been imprisoned unfairly, and that could be an interesting theme for the new movie. Nick, now a police officer trying to investigate a crime from the past that his father was accused of, eventually discovering that his father was innocent. And of course, he would hunt down the real culprit. That's where a big story begins, and a very interesting mystery would be solved in Zootopia 3, with Nick proving to the world that his father was innocent. Are you ready to learn more about the fox's past? Comment number Nick so we can talk about it. Ex-boyfriend. And could an ex-boyfriend of Judy show up in the new movie? That's a possibility that makes perfect sense for one simple reason. Rabbits are animals that have many offspring. Judy's parents say she has 275 siblings, and in the rabbit world, that absolutely makes sense. Both in real life and in animation, this kind of animal tends to have a very large family. A good example is Mrs. Rabbit from the Peppa Pig universe, who has sisters spread all around the globe. And in Zootopia, Judy never said she wanted to have lots of children, but because she's a rabbit, maybe that's part of her nature as our heroine. This ex-boyfriend would show up as someone trying to win her back. Maybe this even fits the theory that Judy and Nick could become a couple, because it's with the arrival of this rabbit who once dated Judy that Nick begins to realize he likes her in a different way. Now, whether this will create a competition for Judy's heart is another story. Is she ready to fall in love again? We'll find out when the movie hits theaters in the next few years. Crime. In the last movie, a major mystery about Zootopia's past was finally solved. Pobbert's great-grandfather stole the idea of a snake to create the city's climate walls, the very technology that helped build Zootopia. And to steal the snake's idea, he lied and claimed that a snake had taken the life of a turtle, and because of that story, all reptiles were expelled from the city. But the one who actually took the turtle's life was Pobbert's relative, and that's a terrible crime. And what does that have to do with Zootopia 3? It's simple. It opens the door for the next movie's mystery to be another crime from the past. Judy and Nick are detectives, and if the mystery they're asked to solve is an old case involving a death, then the story is going to be full of action. Imagine how incredible it would be if Chief Bogo told them that there's a mystery they must solve. This case would be about the death of a former Zootopia police officer, someone who had been investigating another crime involving birds. We already know that birds will make their debut in the next movie, and the mystery involving them could easily be tied to an old case, a death that happened long ago. And if you think we're exaggerating, remember, Judy and Nick are police officers, and because of that, they always have a case to solve. In the first movie, it was the disappearance of predators. In the second, it was the theft of the city's most important book. And in the third movie, it could very well be a death from the past, the thief. But there's another theory. What if the mystery in Zootopia 3 ends up involving the singer Gazelle? This character is voiced by Shakira, and she sings the theme song for both movies. It would be really interesting if the mystery revolved around a stolen Gazelle song. The movie would begin like this. Judy and Nick are called into Chief Bogo's office. When they arrive, the singer Gazelle is there, and everyone knows how much the police chief adores her. Gazelle will say that there's a villain who stole her new song and is threatening to destroy the file. Judy and Nick would have to find this villain before the threat becomes real. But in the middle of the movie, we find out that the person who stole the song is someone from Nick's past. But wait, what do you mean? The thief would be a former girlfriend of the Fox officer, and she only stole Gazelle's song because she knew Chief Bogo would assign her ex-boyfriend to the case. That's the moment when the real mystery begins, and the entire movie changes direction. Everybody knows that Zootopia always has a hidden twist. Could this have anything to do with the franchise's official singer? We'll find out in the future. Sky City, and this movie might get even more different because we may actually visit another city. Nibbles, the beaver who helps the police duo, says that most reptiles live outside Zootopia, and in the post-credit scene of Zootopia 2, we see a bird feather falling from the sky, meaning the birds exist in Zootopia, but who are they? No one ever said there weren't other cities, and there could easily be one in the sky. The birds might have a place that belongs only to them, just like the reptiles have theirs. Are you ready to see the birds' home? The subscribe button is right there, waiting for you. How about clicking and keeping up with everything we post? Sea City. And if the birds have a city, why wouldn't the marine mammals have one too? We saw in Zootopia 2 that there is a dolphin, so of course there must be an area designed just for mammals who live in the water, which means we could see a city under the sea. Here's an important question. Where are Zootopia's whales? Exactly. They must live in a city deep in the ocean. We're going to visit new cities in Zootopia 3, and that alone is enough reason to watch this movie. Imprisoned. Could Judy end up in jail in this movie? Calm down. We know this is shocking, but it actually makes sense. Judy is friends with Mr. Big's mafia family. They're good people, but this closeness could eventually create a problem. In this movie, Judy would be accused of a crime she didn't commit, and because of that, we'd see her spending some time behind bars. But then everything changes when a new case appears for her to investigate. In this situation, Nick would stay on the outside, trying to prove his partner's innocence, while Judy investigates from inside the prison. This is a really interesting theory, don't you think? New chief. One question fans can't stop thinking about is, what if Chief Bogo retires and becomes a dancer? Zootopia's police chief loves Gazelle's music and is always dancing to it. That's why we know he might want to retire and join Gazelle's team of dancers. He already did that in the Zootopia spin-off series. And if that happens, who would be the new chief? Of course, it would be Judy. She's our heroine and the protagonist of the story. But of course, everyone knows she's still a rookie, and there are other more experienced officers. Still, Judy is definitely the best cop in the precinct, and the movie would have an amazing ending if she became the new chief, don't you agree? Series. After Zootopia 1 was released in 2016, Disney created a 4-episode miniseries. That means that before the third movie, we might see another series from this universe coming out in the next few years, and it would serve as the introduction to the new film. film. Will Mickey's studio create a new miniseries? That's very possible, but what do you think? The fun doesn't stop here. There are 2 amazing videos waiting for you on the screen. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.